So it's Sunday morning and I'm back here at my spot in Sapan Hin, which is by the sea in Phuket town. And why am I here today? What's this video going to be called? Well, it could be called moaning about the Thai road repair program or lack of it, but that was just a by the by. No, what I'm going through now, what I'm enjoying right now are my dog days, or should I say my dogless days. I think you know the story. I've told it in the past, but I'll précis it here. I don't like dogs. Never have very much, but many years ago when I was in Noi's hometown, there was this gorgeous little dog whose name was Pepsi, and it was dirty and scruffy, and it hadn't been mistreated or anything, but it had never had a bath in its life and whatever, and it kind of latched onto us. I think it was owned by a neighbour, and amazingly enough I quite liked it. So in consultation with Noi, we decided to adopt it, you know, and so we paid the owner some money, and it was a good quality dog. It was a pedigree dog. It wasn't a mutt. And in the fullness of time, we put it in the car and we brought it home. And then I went back to the States to work. The next thing I heard was that someone had left the gate of the house open, and one of the stinking soy dogs had broken into the house and fucked my Pepsi. And it's my own fault for not having what they do with dogs. I think spaying is for cats, but you know, I should have had her cords cut so she couldn't have babies, but no, I didn't. It's my fault. But yeah, sure enough, she got pregnant, and in the fullness of time, out popped the triumvirate of evil. Three female pups, which in my childhood and in my parents' day would have gone straight into a bucket of water and have been eliminated. But no, these are Buddhist people here, so they were lovingly adopted, and these things proceeded to grow up and grow and grow until they were, you know, 2 or 3 times the size of Pepsi, even though Pepsi was their mother. And they were given names Fanta, Cola and Sprite. Very inventive, very, very good. But I couldn't remember that, and I didn't like them anyway, so I called them ugly, fatty and nasty. Well, dogs are a pack animal, and evidently that takes second place to family, because they formed a pack, and there had to be one leader of the pack, and poor Pepsi was right at the bottom because she was the smallest. And it turns out that the leader of the pack had the nastiest disposition. Yes, you've guessed it, it was nasty. And it started off, she attacked Pepsi, her own mother, and tore out one of her eyes. Well, that was, she was whisked off to the vet, and the socket was sewn up and whatever. When I got back and saw this and whatever, I must admit I attacked Nasty, and I attacked it really, really bad, and so there's nothing to hold me back because I don't like dogs. And by the time I finished with her, she couldn't walk, or she couldn't walk for a few weeks. I think I busted her pelvis or whatever, you know. But this goddamn dog was as strong as an ox. And as the time went on and my visits back there went on, things got worse, because right now there were four dogs living in the house, whereas I had only wanted one, small one. And then Tom, who was this is before he left and went to live in Germany, some kindly neighbour gave him a Chihuahua and its pup. No one bothered to ask me. No, you know, I don't matter. I'm only a Falang and I'm not living there anyway. There's no recognition that I bought the bloody house and I pay all the bills. Oh no. So now there are 6 dogs living in the house, and when I got back, this was too much. And the whole place, every morning, the whole place was awash with dog shit, which I find loathsome. In the end, it wore me down. Oh yes, and what I didn't tell you was Nasty also attacked the mother Chihuahua and killed it. So I'm not sure where that is. So we're back down to 4 again now. And the second time Nasty attacked my dog, she killed it. So no, we were down to a net 5. Now we're down to 4. So this was just too much for me. So yeah, my timeline is only in my head and it's wobbling a bit, but yeah, by this time I'd gotten rid of Ugly and Fatty, and that just left the Chihuahua and Nasty itself. And by this time I'd moved into the house permanently, you know, so thankfully someone saw sense. Tom had moved to Germany permanently now, so you know, I was stuck with these 2 goddamn dogs, which I hated. I mean, I didn't like the Chihuahua at all. Thankfully someone saw sense and gave the Chihuahua to a neighbour, because the Chihuahua used to keep running away from the house and going and taking shelter in the neighbour's house because it hated me. And in the end, they decided to give the dog away, which I was incredibly happy with. So there was only me and Nasty left. And by this time, things had taken a severe downward turn for Nasty, because it had got the mange, so it spent all day whimpering out the back of the house and scratching its own skin off. It had gone blind and pretty much deaf. It was in a shocking state, and then, you know, it developed this huge tumour thing that hung down from its belly and grew bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, if that had burst, it would have been a hell of a mess and the dog would have died. But the final straw came, you know, over the last month or so, when it had kind of stopped going to the toilet in the front yard where I can clean it up, and was going behind the house. And it, as I'll explain in a separate video, it made the back of the house, where my freezer and washing machine and stuff like that. It made that a sort of a no-go area for me. The stink was appalling. I almost lost the use of my own ensuite bathroom because the stink of stale piss was seeping into my bathroom and my bedroom. Something had to be done. That dog had to go. And so I finally hunkered down and I did it. And I'm not going to tell you how I did it, but it wasn't pretty. And we had this discussion a few weeks ago when Poi, my daughter, brought her American boyfriend to the house. He took one look at this dog and yelled out, "That dog should be put down." And I said, "Yes, why don't they?" And Poi explained to me that it's because they're Buddhists and, you know, they would risk their immortal soul if they killed the dog. Well, I gently explained to her that they don't give a bugger about the lorry load of pigs I see going down the road every day off to the slaughterhouse, or the thousands of chickens that get slaughtered every week probably to feed their insatiable appetite for street food. That they don't think about that, but they didn't want to risk their mortal soul by euthanizing a dog, and evidently it's very, very difficult to get a dog put down. So I just said, okay, well, its life is a misery, so my job is done. Let it suffer then, and it's all down to you. A tailpiece to this is that on the very morning that I'd done the deed, I was getting my bike out to go for my morning exercise, and the dog was, you know, laying in state behind the house, and just as I was getting the bike out, a car pulled up behind me, and a very nice German man sort of opened the window and said, "Excuse me, one of the people living around here told me that there's this dog that makes this horrible, you know, howling and moaning noise all night. It's been doing it now for 2 or 3 days. Do you know where it's coming from?" And I put on my best sorrowful face and said, "Yeah, it's my dog, but you don't have to worry because it was very sick and it's dead now." And the poor man was absolutely mortified. He thought he'd said something, you know, completely inappropriate and out of place. And I said, "No, you know, don't worry. It's, you know, it's all in the past now." I made sure there was a little catch in my voice and whatever. I was laughing inside. That poor man was just so mortified, so uncomfortable, and he profusely apologized again and whatever, and, you know, he said he'd let them know, and I said goodbye, and he drove off, and I enjoyed that. Well, another 2 weeks and the rainy season's officially, I think, going to be over. Beginning in November is the start of high season. It's the 20th of October today, and it's going out with a bang. It's not going out with a whimper. Admittedly, there are more dry periods in the weather patterns, but this last 2 nights, which I've been up very, very late, it's been torrential rain outside. I mean, the last 2 nights I've been up and watching the TV at 4 a.m. because the United States Grand Prix comes through, you know, practice and qualifying, and last night was the sprint race. So 4 a.m. I was watching the sprint race. Torrential rain outside. It should finish soon. But that reservoir at Bangwad is now full. That's for you, Malcolm. If you watch this, I'm not going to bother taking another video of it. You know what it looks like. It's full. Bye-bye.